Shared Worlds was an experimental online creative project delivered by SPAN in 2020 during the COVID-19 crisis. It was part of SPAN's response to the pandemic and Pembrokeshire's campaign for kindness. Shared Worlds was an extremely innovative and challenging project as the world was in such a fragile place. Participants and artists were more vulnerable than ever. All activities would have to exclusively take place online, so SPAN had to rapidly update on all their online working practices, and artists had to constantly innovate to make sure that people felt safe and happy to be working together with strangers to create art online with new digital tools. The project was originally conceived before the pandemic hit, and it was designed to create intergenerational activity in Pembrokeshire, which would improve social connectedness, it would reduce social isolation, and it would also support young and old people to learn from one another. We commissioned 5 artists to deliver weekly workshops in puppetry, poetry, dance, singing and mindful photography.
We realised that our process had to be about the now. What we relied on was people's need to be expressive in the moment.
Flowers bring joy, a reminder of the sea, a reminder of the sea, in the sun, in the sun.
Movement can also be a form of catharsis for people. It can give people a chance to say something that they can't articulate with their vocabulary. Not because they lack vocabulary, but just because it's perhaps something that they haven't processed yet.
20 seconds. 20 seconds. Pembroke happiness.
I almost envision these solos being little stories. A little story of Geraldine, a little story of Tina.
Richard Chappell was an absolutely lovely guy.
Geraldine, do you feel like you have something that you could think about in relation to your choreography?
Everything he did was really good, the way it was guided through.
In my mind, it would be that, if there's a sort of barrier, that you're actually perhaps really up close to the camera.
Alongside the creations that we were doing together, we also had quite a vigorous and intense movement session where we'd get warm, we'd push our cardiovascular system, we'd overtly celebrate moving, being connected to our bodies. I'm going to really miss these impromptu 5 o'clock dances on a Tuesday evening. It was also really valuable to work with an organisation which valued individual experience over mass engagement. So we were able to provide a really special experience for a small group of people.
But there is a cleaner who's going to come in, and there's windows, so I don't think I can dance today.
That, I think, made the project more memorable and made its outcomes more special.
One can't help how you look, but on the other, we were all young once.
Alrighty. Listen, thanks so much for this evening, guys. And I'm so looking forward to seeing these.
My project for Shared Worlds was bringing together a group of people, intergenerational group of people, to create a puppet performance out of their stories. Welcome to the Magic Frisbee. It was quite kind of wild and imaginative, but actually the pieces of the story were loosely based on people's real life experiences. Plastic on beaches can harm the creatures.
The young people shared their stories, and some of them were fun and some of them were quite poignant. And then Emily threaded those all together into a story for us to tell with the puppets.
I was really attracted to a project that was going to bring people together in interesting ways, and I suppose I wanted to explore the kind of possibilities and the limitations of Zoom as a platform to kind of bring people together and have a creative experience, but also a social experience.
Although we were all up on screen as we were performing, you couldn't really watch. So it was lovely to see the whole thing played back. It was a lovely thing to have been part of.
And the monster's angry because BTS are destroying the forest.
One of the young people was my great niece, which was delightful.
I don't know what happens next. I don't know what. Like,
Because in lockdown, we only lived 30 miles apart. We simply couldn't see each other.
It's a sort of modern disease, isn't it? Perfectionism. And I think we need to have opportunities to fail and make mistakes and do crazy things. So yeah, I hope I gave people the opportunity to do that. And they all lived happily ever after. The end.
Ar y cyntaf dydd o'r nes I ymgymryd â phrosiect yn Sir Benfro a wnaethon ni edrych ar caneuon gwerin y sir.
Pwy sy'n canu bymbar ar y ffôn? Dwedodd hi, ond Lorraine, mae wedi dweud, wel, mae llais hyfryd gyda hi. Dweud y gwir.
Beth oedd yn hyfryd iawn oedd bod y bobl oedd yn cymryd rhan yn y prosiect yn cofio pethau am eu plentyndod trwy'r caneuon yma.
Mae'n hen arfer a mae'n debyg bod e'n gyfarwydd yn y gwledydd Celtaidd eraill. A oedd hi'n rhywbeth, rhwng y Nadolig a'r flwyddyn newydd neu ar nos Ystwyll, 12th night. A bydden nhw'n dalad rhyw bach a'i gosod I mewn rhyw fath o dŷ bach pren ar y banau arni a'i cario nhw ar y sgwyddau. A mae yna un o'r tai driw yma yn St Rhagan wedi dod o... mae'r gath newydd o mewn yn sopan lid.
Oedd yn ymgymryd â hen arferion y sir.
Dwi wedi gweld ambell I gôr yn canu gyda pob math o stimiau I fynd gydag bobl wedi gwisgo lan fel bwtsiwr a pob math o beth wrth bo'r côr yn ei ganu.
Ac roedd hynny'n beth hyfryd dros ben.
A fel dwi'n gweud, y reswm o'n i'n didewis I oedd yn y cyn gwybod un dda, gwybod pob gair wedyn. A bod ni'n gyd yn ymuno ar cytgan wedyn.
Beth oedd yn ddiddorol, wrth gwrs oedd y siaradwyr Cymraeg yn gallu olrhain hanes I teuluoedd ar hyn a ddysgon nhw yn blant I hunan o ran alawon gwerin a wedyn dysgu yr alawon yma I fi achos dwi ddim yn frodor o Sir Benfro ac i'r dysgwyr hefyd.
Wel, tipyn o hwyl yn te.
Bach o sport.
Yeah.
All I was, I just nipped the touch paper and they just went off like a rocket.
The way the course was structured was very easy and very sort of laid back. We knew from the very beginning that there would be this presentation of our best photos at the end.
So I went out and I took a sequence of photographs and produced a PowerPoint.
And Ray's sort of introductory kind of Zoom, his introductory lecture or whatever, because he did a sort of slideshow, I thought it was really excellent because he spoke about what photography is and what mindful photography is. What
really impressed me was the way that they all picked up the concept and they supported each other.
But I've always thought that photography and walking, being mindful, looking up, they kind of coexist.
But I was always there as an anchor. And I set up a WhatsApp group for them and just let them run with it.
Ray was really available. He was very sort of on it in terms of being able to answer any technical questions, but also offer a bit of encouragement.
Everyone produced brilliant work.
We created a WhatsApp group, which we now continue despite the course ending, despite the weeks together ending.
I feel I've got that concept of mindful photography across, and they've all picked up and developed it. And they do what they call now photo safaris, which is brilliant.
What was really good about the mindful photography is I was sharing the same world through a different lens with all these people I hadn't met. So I'd be getting messages on my WhatsApp from people who had just done a beach walk in Milford Haven or had gone to Narberth and done a little walk around, and all of a sudden you'd be seeing the world through their eyes. And I thought that was actually a really nice, refreshing and welcome kind of perspective on things.
That legacy of continued interest in photography is really rewarding for me.
I was really interested in shared worlds, as I'm all about connecting people through creativity.
Oh, ancient lichened secret walls that hold the warmth of sunny days, and keep me safe in timeless bliss. Who tends and nurtures all of this?
So I was really keen to get involved, especially as this was looking at how isolated people could come together, how we can make creative connections with people who might not always have access to that. We're just going to focus on the essence of the ode, which is a form of high praise.
It was really smartly organised, and Kerry, I think, did a wonderful job of facilitating.
Addressed to a particular place or person or event, and obviously in this case we're going to be addressing it to our place. And of course then what shifted was the fact that we were suddenly all isolated, so everyone needed a way to be connecting.
I think of people I have known and places where I've been, all the things from the past and all the places I have seen.
It made it very different doing it through lockdown and COVID, but in some ways I think it became more relevant.
Poetry is an invitation for you to express yourself completely through language.
Burst, limestone walls glisten with quartz, cobbles echo with history's hooves.
What I was able to do was kind of facilitate an imaginative process of connecting with places that we couldn't have access to because we were all struggling to get out and about.
Now I'd love to spend a day, quite a warm one, maybe May, strolling on the shingled shore, skimming stones across the bay. Well, not a bay, the English Channel.
But if I'm completely honest with you, I've always enjoyed poetry because my first love musically has been hip hop, and that is obviously based around the voice and rhythm. The shape of water flowing over silent stones, river gentle force.
Sun, jewels, calm water, day ends, gull dives into night, deep, silent oneness.
Church spires scratch blue sky, review years of prisoned life, inhale liberty.
What I actually loved about the project was that there was a focus, there was a theme.
My lovely summer house, my solace and retreat. I take my coffee there and a biscuit for a treat.
Yay! What was great about that theme was that it automatically gave people a talking point.
I smell the wood smoke in the air and turn once more to home and fire. I know that when I come again in springtime, bulbs will grace the floor.
Whoa! Wow! Brilliant.
I think Wordsworth's been reincarnated here, hasn't he?
But they were all fantastic. It was a great bunch and I felt really privileged, and I loved coming on every week and seeing everyone in their little Zoom room spaces. Welcome everyone. It's really lovely to see all your faces again on this wet and cold and miserable Wednesday evening.
It was wonderful to experience firsthand the kind, creative and compassionate community coming online together. It was also wonderful to hear how the experience had benefited people, and also to share some of the incredible creative outputs that the participants had created in such a challenging time.